What you think? Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Kickstart with Kayla. I'm your host, Kayla Farner, and I'm so excited that you're with us this week. If you haven't connected with me already, be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Kickstart with Kayla, or you can email me at kickstartwithkayla@gmail.com. Guys, it is another guest episode, and I'm so excited for this one because, again, it's another in-person episode, which I had Maggie on 2 weeks ago, and that was like my first in-person episode in quite some time. But we're here again. I am currently in the car with my cousin, Macy Reynolds. Hello.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here. It's just so exciting.
I'm so excited. And we also have in the back my sister, who's been on, 3 times now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Needs no introduction. That's Lainey. But we're currently leaving Macy's bachelorette trip. She's getting married soon, which is super exciting, which I think when this comes out, it'll be really close to your wedding.
He'll be really close. Coaching like a few more weeks.
Yeah.
Easy.
That is so crazy. I know. Well, I wanted to ask, since a lot of people may not know who you are, if you could share your story just on your walk with Christ or how you got to where you are today in your faith.
Yeah, of course. So I feel like throughout my life, I had grown up going to church with my family. My family's Christian. We did the typical Sunday, go to church, go to dinner after church. But I feel like up through high school, I never really had a deep personal relationship with God. It was more of just a Sunday relationship and not a daily relationship with Him. But when I went to Belmont University my freshman year, I feel like that was when I truly started my walk with Christ, developing more of that day-to-day relationship instead of just seeing it as something I do on a Sunday morning. And I started to feel this way a little bit my senior year, but I started listening to Caleb more and started approaching worship in different forms than just going and singing the songs from hymnals and listening to the sermon and then leaving and not thinking about it after that. But when I went to school in Nashville, I feel like I was able to go to different churches and try them out and kind of try my own path for how I should approach my relationship with God. And the worship songs they sung in Nashville at that church I started going to is a non-denominational church. And I really feel like it helped me actually see God in a different way and really actually feel Him throughout worship instead of just sitting there and listening and then going. And then also too, I wasn't fully involved with a bunch of different Bible studies in school. I did go to them every now and then, but it definitely helped me see it in a more tangible way with people my age instead of people I maybe have gone to school with and we went to Sunday school and that was it. But it was girls that actually intentionally wanted to be together and not something our parents were kind of forcing us to go to. So it definitely helped me see God in a new light, and it worked out my senior year. The church I had gone to throughout all of college, my now fiancé, he actually had been going to that same church, and I didn't even know Jason was going there. But so it kind of worked out in a way that God knew that my one day husband would be going to that same church. So it all just kind of worked out that he was on the same walk with Christ too.
Oh, wait, that's also, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. It's so cool how God's timing works that way. He will put two people in the same room, at the perfect time. And it's sometimes you don't even realize, wait, you've kind of been here all along, which is so cool. Would you say, one thing I was picking up is, you kind of found, a good community that kind of helped you with your faith. Is that right?
Yeah, no, I feel like there is definitely a group of girls I'm not super close with anymore, but I feel like there's always a time and a place for starting friendships. And I feel like definitely throughout my beginning years in college, having that community that I would go to, it was just a group, I think it was every Thursday or Friday we would have it in the morning or afternoon. and just being able to like walk through like different studies together and kind of hear their stories. Like one girl would tell their story and testimony every week. So it was kind of nice to hear what other people were going through, because I really feel like I never heard what actually people were walking through like in high school on a faith level. It definitely was more so just like normal high school situations and nothing really related to God. So it was definitely hit home for me that people actually cared about God and like wanted to openly share about him.
Yeah, that's something that they've been really emphasizing in my program I've been a part of for the past couple weeks, is just how important you not only like finding the right community is, but also just being really open about your struggles with God and with those people. I think just like sharing your struggles or your sin struggles with other Christians, like people that truly are walking in their faith or like have a relationship with God, I think it's so important to do, and it's something that I never really did. I was not very good at, so it's something that I've been working on over the past few weeks, and it generally opens up so many doors, like good doors where you kind of realize like, hey, I am not alone in this situation. And I think, that not only strengthens community, but I think it also strengthens your faith. Um, just because it's like, I thought I was the only person struggling with this. Um, and so it makes me kind of think about like, okay, one, if I'm struggling with something, like, have I told God and have I told somebody else? And, not just one person. Like, one thing that they've been teaching me is if you're struggling with something, like, do not just tell one person. Like, you need to tell like at least two trusted people or like your community in general. But it's just so important to have those people to rely on when you are struggling, because you never know like what other people are struggling with too.
Yeah. Being vulnerable is definitely a great way to open up those conversations too. It can be really hard, but I feel like going through those hard conversations definitely brings you closer to those other people, but it also brings you closer to God too. Like when you actually are like taking time and opening up with him and not just kind of keeping it to yourself and kind of dwelling with it, but actually taking that like hard step of being like, okay, God, like I actually really need to talk to you about this. I really need your help and guidance with this. I mean, I'm going through situations right now where I definitely feel like I need to open up more to him about the situation and kind of help me walk through it. So, taking that leap of faith, even just like sitting down and having a conversation can be hard, but it definitely is worth it.
Yeah. And he wants to hear from you. Like, yes, God is omnipresent, he's omniscient, like, he knows what you're going through, he knows what you're thinking, but he wants you to say it. He wants to hear your voice and stuff, and he wants you to have a conversation with him. But I think, like, at least from my experience, I want to hear about yours too. Like, once that happens, once I finally just confess to God, it's just, I feel so much better. Like, I feel so relieved.
It feels like you have a weight off of your shoulders for
Yeah.
sure. I definitely feel like I have less fear about the situation after I talk to him about it, because like it can be really scary, but you almost have like an eternal peace about it, and you almost come to terms with what's going on instead of just trying to control it. Kind of just opening up your hands to be like, know what, God's actually got me through this, and I don't have to control every second of it. And that definitely can be really hard for me, because I'm very type A. It's like a perfectionist, like to be in control. So trying to not be in control is hard for me. But when I am not trying to take control of the situation and just letting God handle it, like it works out so much better than when I actually try to handle it.
Yeah. I feel like it also makes things less stressful, because it's like if things don't go my way, like it's okay because it's going God's way.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately better anyways. What are some habits, or like have you built any habits over the past few years that have kind of helped you keep God's center in your life?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not perfect at it. I go through my phases with different devotional books that I have. Uh, So I strive to like continue my relationship with God, not only by going to church Sunday and kind of openly talking with my fiance about like the sermon that we had just listened to, like when we're driving home after church, but actually trying to like carve out time in the morning or evening to spend time with God. Like I said, not perfect at it. I definitely, like, the past few weeks have been really busy, and I feel like I haven't had that time and I haven't need that time, when I feel like honestly right now is probably the most pivotal time for me to carve out it before getting married, to actually spend time with God and really lean on his wisdom and discernment for how I should enter my marriage.
Yeah.
But I feel like those two things, and also having friends who also are Christians and kind of talking about God. Like, we're starting at a new church recently, and my one friend, she told us about this church, and I feel like I've been kind of able to open up to her about church and kind of what we've gone through and her faith. So it's definitely been nice having other people to lean on to and know, like, you're not just like walking through this by yourself.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring up too because you are getting married soon, so you do know a thing or two about relationships, especially in a Christian relationship. Um how has that whole experience been? Like Lainey and I, we are both single, like we're still young, and I think kind of discerning like what a Christian relationship looks like. I think that's something that a lot of people our age really struggle with. Like, how has that experience been for you?
It's definitely, I feel like, a slow burn almost. Kind of comparing from like a non-Christian relationship, which I definitely have had in the past, and compared to my relationship now, one like huge thing that I feel like you definitely should lean away from is the toxicity. And that is one thing I feel like in a non-Christian relationship, you will deal with a lot of, when they're not texting you, playing games, or not asking you to go on dates and just wanting you to hang out at their house. Like, I feel like there's like certain ways you can approach it differently. Um, like, I know with Jason, like our second date, like we went to church together. And I feel like we kind of started the relationship knowing where we stood with our faith. And I think that is definitely a great starting point, is kind of like opening up that conversation, whether it even be on the first date or second date, of kind of asking them, like, if they go to church, do they have like a relationship with God? Kind of knowing that before you start into a relationship, I think is key, because I mean, you could go on like multiple dates, then really fall for this person, and then maybe they don't have a relationship with God, and you can think, well, maybe I can change them. Maybe I can like introduce them to God. And that's a great thing. Like, if that's your walk, then that's awesome. And maybe that is the case. But there are some people who can be very stuck in their ways. And then you really have to kind of think, well, I really love them now, but they don't love God. And will this actually work long term in a marriage? So it's kind of approaching it in certain ways of, am I going to get hurt from this if they don't want to go to church with me? Like, well, will our kids go to church together? Like, are we going to raise our kids Christian if they don't believe in God? It's really pivotal, honestly, at y'all's age right now, because it's kind of wild to think of, like, oh, I'm in college right now, or just about to enter college, like Lainey's about to. Like,
Yeah.
should I really be thinking of, like, will this guy I go on a date with, like, if he could be my future husband, like, is he Christian? Like, do I even care about knowing, like, if we're gonna raise our children, if like going to church, like, at this age? Like, it's kind of like long term to think about, but I feel like it definitely is good to start at your age, because it kind of helps cut out the people that aren't gonna be right for you, and then it kind of makes room for God to bring in like the right person for you.
I like that. I heard something the other week that said that you should be looking for somebody that brings you closer to God and not closer to your sin.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's really good to keep in mind, especially like just dating in general is so hard.
It is. It's really hard. It's really, really hard. And Jason was a dime out of a dozen. Like, that. He really came into my life at a really good time my senior year when I was like, "You know what? I'm done with dating. Like, I'll go on a date with him. If this doesn't work out, then I'm just gonna be single for a while until like God brings me the person that I'm meant to marry."
Yeah.
And that was just God's timing that he's like, "No what? Jason's your person."
Yeah. No, and that's kind of similar like what happened to our mom and dad. Like they both met each other when they were fully convinced they were going to be single for the rest of their lives. Like they were not looking for anything. And then they sat together at church one day and yeah, and so it is crazy. Like, Lainey, haven't you said something like this? You've told me something.
What?
We've had a chat about this about like wait, I'm gonna shake the phone. Um, about like sometimes God will just bring people into your life when you least expect it.
Oh, yeah. We've talked about that.
Yeah. Um, Macy, I remember one of a conversation we had like a couple years ago. I think I was going through my first breakup or something, but we had a whole talk about being equally yoked. Yeah, and unequally yoked. Um, how like how do you know when somebody is equally yoked with you? Like how did you kind of figure that out? Or when they're unequal?
It's honestly, it's something that you can't really like see. It's honestly something I feel like you feel. Um, I feel like just from how that person acts, how they treat you, how they treat their friends, how they treat their family, it's really like, I guess you can kind of see it through their actions, but it is definitely more of like a gut intuition of like, is this person aligned with me?
Yeah.
Because it definitely can be hard to kind of know that just maybe off of a first date, but it definitely, I feel like, is a feeling. Like when I was on my first date with Jason, we were at a coffee shop and we talked for like 4 hours. And I feel like I really got to know him. And during that time, I just felt like this is my husband. Like I felt it. Um, and I knew there was just something special about him. And just comparing that to past situations, I didn't feel that. Like I didn't feel like, oh, this is my person. Like it was just like, oh, this is a guy that I am getting food with right now. Like it didn't like feel like we're aligned, but I could just see like our futures were so aligned up together, like where we wanted to move, like what he wanted to do, like what he liked to do, like hobby wise, like even like stuff like that. Like I feel like it really aligned with me and it made me like feel like I could see a future with him. So being equally yoked is definitely more of a feeling and maybe also kind of seeing how their actions and words line up to what they do with their family, friends, and with who.
I think too, past relationships that didn't end well or just were not the best for you, I think it can also help you discern what is meant for you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like oftentimes you talk about like, oh, that relationship was awful, like I hate that I went through it, but at the same time looking back it's kind of like, in a way I'm kind of happy about it because now I know what to look for, what not to look for. Um is Did you have a similar experience?
Yeah, no, I for sure did. I don't regret any of my past relationships, no matter how they ended or where they went. They were all kind of meant to be in their own timing. And I'm grateful for them. Like, they're great people, and I wish them the best. Like, truly. I hold no grudges against any of them. And I mean, it's hard, like, looking back in some relationships and being like, oh, like, yeah, no, some stuff that did suck. Yeah, but it all happened for a reason. And like I said, I really don't hold like any grudges against them. And that brings you like an internal peace too of like not holding on to something that you can't really control anymore either. Because looking back and being like, oh, I wish I didn't handle it that way. You can't change it. You can't change how they feel about it, but you can kind of change like how you go moving forward. And I feel like definitely when I was entering my relationship with Jason, I knew how I wanted to act and what qualities I wanted to possess in order to be not only a good girlfriend, but also a good future wife. So those past relationships definitely taught me things about me that I needed to work through. And I feel like I'm on the other side now and I really don't deal with those issues anymore, whether it be like jealousy, like that was a huge thing I had to work through. But in my relationship with Jason, I feel like he is giving me such comfort and I trust him so much that that really has never been an issue.
Oh, good. That's really good. And two, I mean, with grudges, like, we're not called to hold grudges. Like, it says in the Bible that we are to forgive others as God has forgiven us. And so if you are, holding grudges against people or past situations, like, that is something that you need to work on with you and God. Like, you need to have a chat with him about that. Because there is something in your heart, some sin struggle that you're dealing with in your heart that Jesus doesn't want you to deal with. And it's clearly not causing, any sort of positive emotions towards that person. It's just causing resentment. And it could cause jealousy or, bitterness. And I mean, that just doesn't make life fun at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it really doesn't.
No. So, okay. I know I asked you about keeping, like, how you've kept God centered, like, in your life. But I think one thing that I always have struggled with, and I'm sure a lot of other people have too, is like actually keeping God in the center of your relationship with somebody else. Because I know there is so much room where things can go wrong or like just temptations in general, like can go south. And so I think saying like we keep God in the center of relationship so much easier said than done. And I was wondering how you and Jason have been able to do that.
I feel like it's more of like an everyday thing that we're even still working through as we're about to enter our marriage, through talking through like premarital counseling questions and kind of talking about different situations that we may not normally talk about. But we're reading a book right now that's kind of helped us like question each other on certain things. But I feel like we ultimately have always been aligned with our relationship with God. And I mean, one, just being able to just go to church with him every Sunday. Like, yeah, that's just a weekly thing we do, but it definitely, like, when we were living in Nashville and we'd go to church together, like, there was a time during our church service in Nashville where right before communion every Sunday, you had time, like 10 minutes to talk with who you're with about the sermon and how it kind of applies to you. And I feel like, well, the start of our relationship and having that opportunity every week to really delve in and talk to each other about our faith, that really, I feel like, set the tone of our relationship. And then going forward, like even talking about it just after church now, like with our new church in Raleigh, they don't have the same, obviously, type of format as our old church did, but kind of knowing that we can talk about the service and see how that aligns with our life, that definitely has like set a good foundation. And we know that like we want to bring our future children to church, and even like now looking for a different church that we're just starting at, like we can see our future children going there just with the different programs they have, the programs they have for our young adult selves, and actually actively getting involved with it. That definitely has really helped us like kind of keep God at the center. Just from that initial date, like knowing we were aligned, that we would go to church together and that he actually had a relationship with God, that was really important to me, that whoever I married had a relationship to God. So I feel like in my past, it definitely was not the case. And I feel like that kind of pulled me away from God more when whoever I was with didn't see the value going to church or having a relationship with him. So the fact that Jason even went to church before meeting him,
Yeah.
that was so invaluable to me. Like I was like, okay, this is like check off box one. Like he actually goes to church. He has a relationship with God. Like that's awesome.
But yeah, that is good. It's always a green flag.
Yes, it is a green flag for sure.
That's so good. Um, kind of closing us out. I did have one more question, and it's not actually about dating. I kind of wanted to go into just one more question and like people that are actually single.
Yeah.
Because I know you've had experiences and stuff. Like, what would you say to somebody? Well, I guess like Delaney and I are, but to somebody that is single and like they're not dating right now, like what can they do now that can benefit them later when they do start dating? Or like in their walk with Christ, or like
I feel like the one big thing I could really think of is just feeling so confident and comfortable with yourself before entering in a relationship. Like kind of knowing what you love to do and getting in a routine of whether it be like for me, like I love going to Pilates. I love spending time with my dog Whitney. I love doing certain things with my friends, but also like having that I always carve out time, I feel like, for myself, and having that time that I've carved out for myself has really gotten me to know myself more and what I like to do, what I don't like to do, and kind of before you're entering a relationship, once you have that all figured out for yourself, I feel like it's easier to bring somebody else into that and kind of make room for them in your life. Like, I feel like once you're in your own routine of doing what you love to do and feeling so good, that's when that person comes into your life when you least expect it. And it really all is in God's timing when He does bring that person in. Because honestly, when you're at the point that I had been at, like, no, like, I feel like I'm just going to be single for a while, like, and that's okay. I've come to terms, I've accepted that. And then, boom, Jason showed up. So, like, I feel like I had gone to a point where I felt so good about what I was doing every day. I felt good with myself. And then God was like, okay, this is the time that I'll bring that person to you. So I feel like it's kind of honestly taking that time, spending time with God. If you want to go to Pilates, if you want to do some type of movement just to feel good, like spending time with your friends, like not cutting your friends out of your life, spending time with your dog, spending time with your family, and being so intentional with what you do every day, then God's just going to bring that person to your life, even though that is probably the one thing I hated to hear the most when I was single was it's going to happen when you least expect it. But throughout all my friendships that I've had and whoever my friends are currently with, who they're engaged to, who they're married to, it all happened when they least expected it. And I feel like it's truly, ultimately, I guess, like, to end cap that is just to be so intentional with what you do every day. And it's going to all fall into place, and to kind of not worry about it and, like, kind of overthink of, oh, when is my person going to show up? Like, what can I do to get them into my life? Just don't worry about it and don't really think about it, to be honest, because it is going to happen, and it's going to happen in God's timing.
I love that. That's so good. And that's true. Like, that's something that I need to work on as well, just being intentional with my time and just focusing on myself and what I already have, and let God figure out the rest for me. Lady, do you have anything you want to add?
Not really. I agree with that though. And like it always happens when you least expect it. And I mean, it can get draining trying to like look for something constantly. Like I feel like every time that I've like least expected something, it's when it happens. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, Macy, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm so excited that you said yes.
Of course.
I'm so happy you asked it. Guys, this was literally a conversation we were having in the pool yesterday. Like, it's so funny. But that was really good, and I know there's a lot of people that are definitely going to get some good stuff out of your advice, so I appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Well, guys, I hope this helped kickstart your week, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.
Bye.